Wake up early morning, Denzel Washington life advice. There is something sacred about the early morning. Before the noise, before the notifications, before the opinions, before the doubt. The battle begins before sunrise. Most people think the fight starts when the world sees you, when the meeting begins, when the competition shows up, when the spotlight turns on. But the real battle, it happens in the dark, in the quiet, in the space between the alarm ringing and your hand reaching to silence it. That moment decides more than you realize. Before the sun rises, there is a war going on inside you. One voice says, "Stay here. It's warm. You deserve more rest. You can start tomorrow." The other voice whispers, "Get up. There's more in you. Don't waste this day." And nobody hears this battle. Nobody applauds this battle. Nobody posts this battle. But this is where champions are separated from spectators. When you wake up early, you are not just leaving your bed. You are leaving behind excuses. You are stepping out of comfort and stepping into responsibility. You are telling your future, "I'm coming for you." There's something about the early morning that reveals who you really are. In the afternoon, it's easy to talk about ambition. At night, it's easy to dream, but at dawn, when your body is heavy and your mind is foggy and the world is silent, that's when your character speaks. The darkness before sunrise can feel symbolic. It mirrors the doubts inside you, the fears, the unfinished goals, the mistakes from yesterday. Sometimes you wake up and the weight of everything hits you at once. Regret, pressure, insecurity. It would be easier to roll over. But growth has never lived in easy places. When you rise before the sun, you are declaring something powerful. My feelings will not control my future. You are choosing discipline over emotion. You are choosing purpose over comfort. And let's be honest, it's not glamorous. It's not cinematic. Your eyes are half open. Your steps are slow. Sometimes you don't feel inspired. Sometimes you don't feel strong, but you move anyway. That movement is sacred because in those early hours you build a quiet confidence. You prove to yourself that you can do hard things. You prove that you don't need motivation to act. You prove that you are serious about your life. The world doesn't see the 5 a.m. struggle, it only sees the 5 p.m. results. They see the success. They see the strength. They see the composure. But they don't see the mornings you wanted to quit, the mornings you felt behind, the mornings you questioned yourself and still chose to rise. That's where resilience is born. Before sunrise, there are no distractions, no noise, no comparison, just you and your thoughts. And in that silence, you can confront yourself honestly. You can face the negative feelings instead of running from them. You can pray, reflect, plan, breathe. You can take control before the world tries to control you. If you lose the morning, the day controls you. If you win the morning, you control the day. The battle begins before sunrise. It begins in discipline, in decision, in that quiet yes you give to your purpose while the rest of the world sleeps. And every time you choose to rise in the dark, you become a little stronger than you were yesterday. That is how victories are built long before anyone ever sees them. Discipline over feelings. This is where most people lose the war. Because feelings are loud, feelings are persuasive, feelings feel real. When you're tired, you feel exhausted. When you fail, you feel incapable. When someone rejects you, you feel unworthy. And in those moments, your emotions seem like truth. But feelings are temporary visitors. They are not permanent residents. The problem is, if you let feelings lead, they will drive your life in circles. One day you're motivated, the next day you're discouraged. One morning you believe in yourself, by evening you're questioning everything. If your actions depend on how you feel, your progress will always be unstable. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel, it asks what must be done. There will be mornings you don't feel confident. Show up anyway. There will be days you don't feel inspired. Work anyway. There will be moments you don't feel strong. Stand anyway, because feelings fluctuate. Purpose does not. Understand something deeply. You are not weak because you feel negative emotions. You are human. Even the strongest people feel doubt. Even the most successful people feel fear. The difference is not in what they feel, it's in what they obey. When sadness tells them to stay in bed, discipline says get up. When fear says don't try, discipline says take the step. When insecurity says you're not ready, discipline says prepare harder. Discipline is an act of self-respect. It says, I value my future more than my current mood. And that's powerful. There will be days your heart feels heavy. Maybe you compare yourself to others. Maybe you remember past mistakes. Maybe you feel behind in life. Those feelings can feel overwhelming. They can make you question your worth. But discipline whispers something stronger. Keep going. Not because it's easy. Not because you feel good. But because you made a commitment. Commitment is sacred. When you decide who you want to become, you cannot let temporary emotions vote on permanent decisions. You cannot let a bad day convince you to abandon a good goal. Discipline is waking up early when you don't feel like it. It's studying when you're distracted. It's training when your body is tired. It's choosing growth when comfort is calling your name. And over time, something beautiful happens. The very actions you forced yourself to take begin to change how you feel. You start feeling stronger because you acted strong. You start feeling confident because you kept promises to yourself. You start feeling capable because you proved you could endure discomfort. Action reshapes emotion. Most people wait to feel better before they move. But movement is what makes you feel better. And here is the deeper truth. Discipline builds identity. Every time you do what you said you would do, even when you didn't feel like it, you build trust with yourself. And self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Without discipline, feelings control you. With discipline, you control your direction. You are not your fear. You are not your doubt. You are not your temporary sadness. You are the decisions you make despite them. Choose discipline over feelings long enough, and one day you'll look back and realize something powerful. The days you didn't feel like showing up were the days that shaped you the most. That is how strength is formed, not in comfort, but in commitment. Darkness is a teacher. Most people run from darkness. They avoid it, they numb it, they distract themselves from it. When negative emotions come sadness, anger, disappointment, fear, the first instinct is escape. Turn on the noise, scroll the screen, call someone. Do anything to avoid sitting alone with that feeling. But what if the darkness isn't there to destroy you? What if it's there to develop you? The moments you feel lost teach you how to seek. The moments you feel weak teach you where you need to grow. The moments you feel broken reveal what truly matters. Pain has a voice, and if you're brave enough to listen, it will tell you something powerful about yourself. Think about it. You don't discover your strength when everything is easy. You discover it when life presses against you. When you're disappointed, when you fail, when someone walks away, When you look in the mirror and feel like you're not enough. That's darkness, and it hurts, but pain exposes what comfort hides. It shows you your fears. It shows you your insecurities. It shows you the places where you still depend on approval, on validation, on outcomes. And though it feels uncomfortable, that exposure is not punishment, it's preparation. Darkness strips away illusions. When everything falls apart, you begin to see clearly. You realize what was fake. You realize what was temporary. You realize what was never meant for you. And in that clarity, something begins to shift. You begin to grow roots. Because when you've walked through dark seasons, you stop being fragile. You stop expecting life to always feel good. You stop being surprised by challenges. Instead, you start asking deeper questions. What is this teaching me? How can this make me stronger? What must change inside me? Negative emotions are not enemies. They are signals. They are alerts telling you something needs attention. Ignoring them only makes them louder. Facing them makes you wiser. There are nights when the silence feels heavy, when your thoughts feel overwhelming, when doubt feels louder than hope. And in those moments, it's tempting to believe the darkness defines you. But darkness is a season, not your identity. The night does not cancel the sunrise. You are not weak because you struggle. You are not failing because you feel pain. You are learning. You are being shaped. You are being refined. Gold is purified in fire. Muscles grow under resistance. Character forms under pressure. And sometimes the greatest breakthroughs are born from the lowest points. When you embrace the darkness as a teacher, something shifts inside you. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this preparing me for?" And that question changes everything. Because instead of shrinking, you start rising. Instead of running, you start reflecting. Instead of collapsing, you start building. The darkness teaches patience. It teaches humility. It teaches resilience. It teaches faith in yourself when there is no applause. And one day, you'll look back at the season you once begged to escape and realize it was the season that built your strength. The pain didn't break you, it revealed you, and that is the hidden power of darkness. It doesn't come to end your story. It comes to deepen it, commanding your mind at dawn. The morning is more than a time on a clock. It is a doorway. And the first thoughts that walk through that doorway have power. Before you check your phone, before you hear anyone else's voice, before the world tells you who you should be, there is a quiet moment when your mind is soft, open, impressionable. And in that fragile space, something will take control, either fear or faith, doubt or direction. If you don't command your mind at dawn, it will be commanded for you. Negative thoughts are early risers. They wake up fast. They whisper reminders of yesterday's mistakes. They replay embarrassing moments. They predict failure before you've even stepped out of bed. You're behind. You're not ready. You're not good enough. Today will be just like yesterday. And if you stay silent, those thoughts become declarations. That's why you must speak first. Before doubt speaks, you speak. Before fear predicts, you declare. Before insecurity whispers, you answer. There is power in what you say at dawn. When you wake up and intentionally choose gratitude, something shifts. When you say, "I am thankful for another day," you interrupt the cycle of negativity. When you say, "I am growing, I am learning, I am becoming stronger," you begin to rewire your thinking. It may feel unnatural at first. It may even feel forced. But commanding your mind is not about pretending life is perfect. It's about refusing to let darkness narrate your day. Your mind is a battlefield, and the morning is the first round. If you let social media flood your thoughts first, comparison will shape your confidence. If you let yesterday's failures dominate your thinking, hesitation will shape your actions. But if you choose intentional thoughts, purposeful thoughts, you step into the day anchored. Anchored people don't drift. Commanding your mind means setting intention before reaction. It means deciding who you will be before circumstances test you. It means reminding yourself of truth before lies gain momentum. Some mornings you'll wake up heavy. The weight of responsibilities, the pressure to succeed, the quiet fear of not measuring up, those feelings are real. But they are not rulers. You must tell your mind, you will not control me today. Breathe deeply, slowly. Center yourself. Speak life out loud if you have to. Pray, meditate, write down your goals. Remind yourself of your why. Fill your mind with something stronger than your anxiety, because whatever fills your mind first often frames your entire day. When you command your mind at dawn, you walk differently. You respond differently. You carry yourself with quiet confidence, not because life is easy, but because you've already won the internal conversation. The world will challenge you. People may disappoint you. Plans may shift. But if you began your day grounded, you won't crumble easily. Peace in the morning becomes strength in the afternoon. And here is the deeper truth. You cannot always control your circumstances, but you can influence your thoughts. And your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your future. So guard your mornings. Protect that first hour like it's sacred, because it is. When you learn to command your mind at dawn, you stop being a victim of your emotions and start becoming the architect of your day. And that is where real power begins, rising again and again. Life will knock you down, not once, not twice, but repeatedly. There will be days you give everything you have and still fall short. Days when rejection feels personal. Days when failure feels final. Days when you look at yourself and wonder if you even have the strength to try again. That's the moment that defines you, not the success, not the applause, not the achievement, but the decision to rise again. Anyone can stand tall when they're winning. Anyone can smile when doors are opening. But it takes something deeper, something unshakable, to get back up when the door slams shut in your face. And here's the truth no one talks about. Rising again is exhausting. It's tiring to keep believing when results are slow. It's draining to keep pushing when progress feels invisible. It's painful to rebuild confidence after it's been shattered. Sometimes you don't feel brave. You feel broken. Sometimes you don't feel strong. You feel small. Sometimes you don't feel hopeful. You feel empty. But strength is not the absence of those feelings. Strength is moving despite them. Every time you rise after falling, you send a message to yourself, I am not finished. That message matters. Failure can whisper lies. It can tell you that you're not talented enough, not smart enough, not disciplined enough. It can convince you that this setback is proof you should quit. But failure is not a verdict. It's feedback. Falling does not mean you are incapable. It means you are in motion. Only those who attempt something risk stumbling. Only those who dare to grow experience discomfort. And every time you rise again, you become harder to break. Resilience is built in repetition. The first time you get up after being knocked down, it feels impossible. The second time, it still hurts. The third time, you begin to understand something powerful. You survived before, and you can survive again. That realization changes you. You stop fearing failure as much. You stop seeing obstacles as permanent. You start viewing setbacks as part of the process, not the end of the story. Rising again is an act of defiance. It's looking at disappointment and saying, "You don't get the final word." It's looking at fear and saying, "You will not paralyze me." It's looking at doubt and saying, "I've heard you before, and I kept going anyway." And here's the beautiful part. Every time you rise wiser, you rise stronger, you rise more aware of your capacity. Scars become reminders not of weakness, but of survival. One day you will look back at the moments that almost broke you, the nights you cried, the mornings you didn't want to get out of bed, the times you questioned everything, and you'll realize something profound. You kept getting back up. That is your power, not perfection, not flawlessness, not constant victory, but persistence. Life may knock you down 7 times. Rise 8, rise 9, rise 10, rise as many times as it takes, because as long as you are willing to rise again, your story is still being written. And the person who refuses to stay down is the person who eventually stands unshaken.